Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. Apart from the mild hiss of the oxygen machine and the heart monitor's constant beeping, the hospital room is shockingly quiet. The subtle flickering of the overhead fluorescent light gives the otherwise white walls a mild hue. As Annie Sewin sits motionless next the hospital cot, the air smells sterile and mixes with the faint floral aroma of her skin. Her dark, tear-streaked eyes fix on the little, delicate body of her newborn daughter, whose little chest rises and falls with effort, her breathing erratic. Given her little face, the oxygen tube hooked to her nose seems unrealistically big, and seeing it makes Annie's heart clench painfully. David Taborowicz is at the foot of the crib, hands pushed into the pockets of his frayed pants. He hasn't shaven in days, and tiredness dulls his usually vivid blue eyes. Whispering prayers in Thai, he watches Annie massage the fingers of their baby, her voice hardly heard over the constant hum of the medical equipment. He hates the sensation of completely useless powerlessness. 1 week earlier, their house exuded happiness. Their world had been blessed with love and laughter as their baby daughter had been healthy and vibrant. As Annie held her, she would hum lullabies. David would wonder at how small and perfect she was, counting her little fingers and toes over and over again, as if ensuring she was real. They had been contentedly ignorant that things were going to change. First it began with a fever. Nothing particularly concerning at first, babies constantly have fevers. Then the cough arrived, deep and rattling, like something too enormous for such a small person. The way their daughter's breath grew labored and she screamed in pain, it sent a surge of terror through Annie's body she couldn't escape. Annie was calling for David to fetch the car keys by the time her lips began to show the smallest tint of blue. The trip to the hospital was hazy. With her voice breaking with every syllable, Annie held their daughter to her chest and murmured frantic prayers in Thai and English. David had never driven so quickly in his lifetime. His knuckles were white as he grasped the wheel. Though there was no time to admit it, the fear seemed smothering. Every moment counted. Days later, they are here in this hospital room that seems both like a jail and a haven. Though their daughter is still with them and fighting, the horror has not lifted. Since they came, Annie has stayed along the edge of the crib. She refuses to eat more than a few bites of the meals David brings her, and refuses to go asleep. Every moment is watched, waited for, preyed upon. The door creaks open, and Dr. Patel enters with a calm yet austere demeanor. He has memorized every aspect of their case, hence it is obvious he does not need a checklist. Both Annie and David sit up straight, their exhausted eyes fixed on him in quest of some indication of hope. Dr. Patel speaks consistently and reassuringly. He said their daughter is reacting to treatment. Her temperature has settled, and the oxygen treatment is assisting in her breathing. Although it is still a vital period, they should expect a complete recovery within the next week if all keeps getting better. Annie lets out a breath she never noticed she was carrying. She kisses her daughter's forehead, shaking as tears flow down her face. David sighs long, shakily, his shoulders drooping with relief. He stretches for Annie's hand and firmly squeezes it. One of tiredness, thankfulness, and unquestionable love for their child, they exchange a glance. David asks Dr. Patel if there is anything more they could do. He clears his throat and asks with raw emotional voice. The doctor smiles politely and reminds them that their presence is most crucial outside of medical treatment. Babies are stronger than they seem, he says, and this little girl is already demonstrating she has the heart of a fighter. Annie nods, bending in close proximity to her daughter. Her voice is hardly audible above a whisper as she pledges Mommy and Daddy will always be here. The infant stirs just slightly, a small moan exiting her mouth, her fingers curling ever so softly around Annie's. Though it's the least of motions, it feels as though the sun is breaking through the tempest. Fragile yet brilliant, hope flickers in Annie's chest. David comes out into the hospital corridor later that evening. He leans against the wall, dragging a hand down his face and yanking out his phone. Before opening Instagram Live, his finger floats over the screen for a while. An update has been much sought for by thousands of individuals. He hurriedly cleans his eyes and smiles, tired but real, as the screen flashes comments and hearts. Speaking gently and with much emotional weight, he thanks everyone for their prayers, ideas, and support. Although he describes how horrible the past several days have been, he assures his fans that their little angel is tough. She is fighting like her mother is, and she is improving. The torrent of comments comes in prayers, encouragement, limitless love from people all around. He pauses at the end of the live, inhales deeply, then backs into the hospital chamber. Inside, Annie is still clutching the small hand of her daughter while singing a lullaby. The hospital watches their consistent beat, a consoling sound now. Sitting next them, David puts his arm over Annie and gently kisses her forehead. One thing is abundantly evident in this time among machinery and uncertainty. Love is stronger than fear. A week later, the hospital room that used to house restless nights and anxiety is vacant. Their daughter is now completely recovered. Annie and David know their road as parents is only just beginning, stronger than ever. As they stroll outside into the warm sunlight, their baby tucked securely in Annie's arms. And David looks at Annie as they buckle their small daughter into her car seat for the first time since the trauma started. She seems worn out, but once more she flashes delight in her eyes. He squeezes her hand, reaching for it. "We did it," he says, his voice choked with feeling. Annie nods and strokes a hair strand off her face. She corrects him. "She did it," looking down at their daughter. "She's our young warrior." David swallows fiercely and gets a lump in his throat. He slants over and plants a kiss on the forehead of his daughter. She is indeed. Though quiet, the automobile trip home is a comfortable quietness. Their once overpowering terror has given way to something else totally: gratitude. They are heading home as a family. David also knows in his heart that the greatest days are still to come as he pulls into the driveway of their house, the location that just a week ago had been bursting with love and laughter. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.